Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Stephen, let's start with you. Mike Matheny said that people get better through adversity. You spent your first half season in the majors on a team that won 100 games. You played in the postseason. This year, you didn't make the playoffs. Went to game 162 with a chance to make the playoffs. How did that adversity of not making the playoffs make Stephen Piscotty better?
I think what we I think as a team learned is that one game could have changed the course of our season in many different parts. I mean, it was a real tough thing to lose just by that one game, and there were so many different opportunities we had to change the course of a game to maybe get that one game and get in the playoffs. And it's just such a great lesson that every game finish it out. Try to come back in the ninth if you're down, doesn't matter. And that was a pretty bittersweet feeling. We finished strong. I felt we went 5-7 that last homestand, and a lot of us thought that was gonna do it for us, and unfortunately it didn't. But we finished strong, and I think looking back, that one game, it's just it's hard to swallow.
Aledmus, your first full year in the major leagues. You had not played a full season in a long time. What was it like for you to play the full 6 months?
Yeah, I think it was a great year for me. Looking back, I don't have the time in the season to realize the great season I was having. But I think that I have to be grateful with my teammates, and the coaching staff. I think St. Louis Cardinals is a great organization. I got the chance to play 2 years in the minors, and everybody here support you. Even when you got a bad years, they understand it's part of the process. So I learned that in the minors. When I get to the big league, I got a great manager. So they took me under his wing, and showed me the way, Wainwright, Molina, So I think the good thing that we have is we got great veterans. They are young, but they have a lot of years in the big league. So let me put it that way. So yeah, I think we got a great team for next year. I learned a lot, last year. So I'm excited to go to spring training, for sure.
Aledmus talked about the process of getting to the majors, the process of then ascending at the major league level. And Carlos Martinez has ascended to that level of being a number one type starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. A fantastic year in 2016. Did you feel like, not that you haven't figured out, but you had better control of situations in 2016 than you'd ever had before?
Yeah, I just say last year was a hard year because my first start on the starting rotation, and I think this year I have more comfortable in all my pitches and myself too. So I think I am a veteran. I am a young player, but I think my man is a veteran, and I think I can help a lot on the team.
Adam talked about his relationship with Yadi and how the eye contact and how they're able to communicate. You've been with Yadi your entire career at the major league level. How important is he to you, and do you have that same sort of relationship?
Yeah, he gave me the comfortable on myself because he think about I am more than. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
But I think Yadi is a good player and good teammate, and I think he's my uncle too because because he helped me a lot out the field and on the field too, and Wainwright too. Wainwright, sometimes he. What do you think? Yeah, so sometimes he talked to me about
I'm gonna be a translator, so. He say Wainwright help him with the behavior of the field and on the field. So yeah.
Adam, you've been in this situation. 2005, you walk into Clubhouse. 2006 for the whole season, where you were the young guy with a team that had had a lot of success, and there were a lot of leaders in that clubhouse. Now you're the leader. How heartening is it to see the Cardinals bring along guys like this that have that opportunity to ascend like you did?
Yeah, I think it might be me that's breaking these things. It has really been awesome. When I first came up, there was Reggie Sanders and Larry Walker and Matt Morris and Chris Carpenter and Jason Isringhausen and Woody Williams and Jeff Suppan and all these people who, Eckstein and Scott Rowland and you could keep going and on. Jim Edmonds. They were just the whole team was 35 years old. So I'm not that old, Everybody was my age, so relax. I'm not old. It has been really cool to watch these guys, and I really, you think about Aledmys in his case. If Johnny doesn't get hurt in spring training, do we know what kind of great potential he has? Who knows? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But it's amazing how things work out the way they're supposed to, and we were so fortunate. He was the savior for our team for a lot of those hard months we were battling and grinding. And if he hadn't gotten hurt, I really think he would have been right there in the Rookie of the Year voting. I think he had just a great chance to do that.
Thank you, man.
But I think about Carlos. I really honestly think he should win 30 baseball games. Yeah. Trente, Papa.
No pressure.
Trente. I watch him in awe sometimes when I'm standing behind him throwing his bullpen sessions, and he's just barely trying, and he's throwing it 93 miles an hour. It's just he's been given a gift. You've been given a gift by Dios, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing to watch him. But I think his potential is incredible. I think he could be what we saw him do last year. I think it's just scratching the surface. I think he has the potential to be really, 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 really great. Yeah. But Steven too. I don't mean to slight Steven. I think when you look at Steven and his bat path and his professionalism, and I was watching him work in the batting cages last year with a ball between his legs, and he was working on his base. And you just don't see a lot of young players working in the way he works. And the last guy I saw work the way that Steven works is Matt Carpenter. And he turned out pretty good. So I think you're in great hands with Steven Biscotti too.
First full year in the majors, 273, 22 homers, 85 RBIs, an OPS of 800. And now in addition to the on-field stuff, the hitting and the fielding, with the departure of Matt Holliday, there is room for leadership in this clubhouse. And I know that you were a leader in your college days at your minor league level. Can you talk about how, especially with the departure of Matt Holliday, you will try to maybe take over some of that in the clubhouse?
Yeah, I'm not sure entirely what that's going to look like going forward. I have thought about it and kind of tried to think through ways I can contribute in that regard. I've always kind of been just a lead by example type of guy. I haven't been too rah-rah, and that's just kind of my personality. But if something needs to be said, I feel like I'm getting to a point where I'm comfortable enough to say it. And so, if that happens, it happens. But I'm just going to try to play the game the right way and lead in that regard.
And there are so many ways to lead, and one of those is through having fun and trying to keep people loose. We know that number 50 does that. I don't know if anybody has more fun in the dugout or on the field than Carlos Martinez. How much fun do you have?
When when the game start, I just come to the dugout and just put 100% on the dugout of my day off, because I wanna make my team be happy in the game and just having fun in the game. Because if you have positive in the game, I know you're gonna win and you're gonna celebrate everything on the game. So I do that because
Aledmus, let's talk a little bit about 2017. Such a great rookie year, hit 300, 17 homers, 65 RBIs, an OPS well over 800, and you got better and better defensively as the season went along. What do you want to improve on in 2017?
I think like a player, you have to work out, you have to work in everything, in your defense, in your offense. I think I want to put a lot of effort this year in the spring training about running the bases. I think I can steal more bases next year. That's the one thing I'm going to improve. So also I want to work in my defense. I know my defense was a high topic, at the beginning of the season last year. But I think when the season go on, I slow the game a little bit. So like I say, last year I got the help for Mueller, David, the coaching staff, like the positioning in the field before the pitchers start throwing, and we got a lot of information, at the big league level. So I just take advantage as soon as the season go on. So I got more experience this year. So I go to spring training and work on everything, and hopefully get a great 2017 year.
Because of the weather, Dexter Fowler and Brett Cecil, they both wanted to be here and they couldn't be here tonight. You pitched, Adam, against Dexter Fowler for many years. I'm sure that you've done your homework on Brett Cecil. What do you have in your two new teammates?
Well, I think Brett is going to be great. I mean, he's a power left-hander out of the bullpen, which, every bullpen needs more of those. So that's great. I don't really know Brett is that great, to be honest with you. He's been in Toronto, and we just don't play them very often. We don't get a chance to see some of the American League teams as much as maybe some of the other, like the Central American League teams where we might see the Tigers or the Royals more than the Blue Jays. We just don't play them much. But I do know Dexter very well, and he's been a very tough out over the years. He does a lot of things really, really good. He obviously brings speed. He goes first to third almost as good as anybody I've seen. He plays great defense in the field. He's got power to start off a game. He works counts. He walks when he needs to. He really just, and what he does also from everybody I've heard is he's a great teammate. And we just, every team could use as many of those as you could possibly have. He's got one of the best smiles you've ever seen. It's just going to make everything in our clubhouse and on the field better. I love that sign.
I want to hit on one more thing here, and we talk about it on the radio because the team that won the World Series last year, that was last year. We have a tendency to say, okay, the Cardinals are chasing Chicago. Well, for a lot of years, the Cardinals were chasing, or the Cubs were chasing the Cardinals. But you're even right now. You are chasing the Cubs. You can't chase the 2016 Cubs. They already won. So you start from scratch, don't you?
You know what? In my mind, they played better than us last year. They earned that World Series. I hate to say that; it just drives me crazy. But you know what? I'm using it as motivation, and I think the rest of our team is as well. When you look at our team, I know we have the potential to be great. And once we get out, but we played them very tough last year. I think had we got into the postseason, we would have been the team they didn't want to play the most. I think so. Yeah, that's true. But I think when you look at this year, we're no longer the favorites. It hasn't been that way in a long time. We're no longer the favorites, and that's fine because there's not going to be another team that works harder than us out there this year because we got something to prove. We got something to prove to you Cardinal fans and to this ownership group and to this manager and this general manager that have worked so hard to put this team on the field to prove that they did the right thing and that you guys deserve another National League championship and a World Series championship.
Stephen Piscotty, do you like that? Do you like that spot of being the team and the guy with a chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, I think so, and I agree with everything that Wayno said. You're looking very presidential today with the hair and the button. It looks very nice. Looks very nice. But yeah, I agree with everything Adam said. I'm just excited, and I love that we're playing them first, and I'm really excited for that opening weekend.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Aledmus, how exciting is that to be able to start the season against the Cubs here in St. Louis, Sunday Night Baseball?
Gonna be great, get that first win, and I think we have to focus in us, like a team. We have to focus on us and forget about last year was the same, when we get to the spring training, everybody talking about the Cubs. So I think this year we have to focus on the St. Louis team, you know, and what we can do in the field, and go to the spring training with the mindset like we have to work harder like a team together, and we got a pretty good team. So I just want to every third get and go to the field and play.
And finally, Carlos, you in your first year played in the World Series, so you can tell these guys how much fun it is, and I know you're hungry to get back there too.
I have confidence in my team. So I just say, if you're working hard, you're gonna win. So my team is a champion, and this year I think we got better than last year. So just working hard every day and put 100% when we go to the game. So I have confidence in my team.
We're looking forward to a great 2017. How about a round of applause for Stephen Piscotty, Aledmus Diaz, Carlos Martinez, Adam Wainwright, our Stockton Broeg winners up here on stage tonight. Thank you, gentlemen.